So, sex without an erection has to become a completely normal part of your sex life, an essential part of your sex life, and I will explain to you why it is very important. But what is sex without an erection, first of all? First of all, it is about learning to penetrate without an erection. You go in without an erection, you still get an erection inside, just not before you penetrate. You get it after you penetrate. So that's really important. And secondly, even if you don't then gain an erection inside, you continue and you're able to have a really nice experience of intercourse without an erection. So the penetration without an erection is totally possible to learn. It's just a matter of technique. And once you learn it, it's actually easier to get an erection inside the vagina because there is a natural energy. There's a natural arousal between the vagina and the penis. And on the outside, if anything, you don't have that energy. So you have to rely more on some kind of external stimulation, some fantasy, pretty much imagination. Whereas inside you have a real energy that helps the erection. So in a way, it is a more natural, more organic way, an easier way to get an erection. And you can also help it with some movement to gain that erection. And as for the intercourse without an erection, it is obviously very different. It is not the same experience. It's not the same sensation. It's not going to be, the intense sensation that you get with an erection. But in its own right, it is an incredibly beautiful and wonderful experience in that really gentle sensation, that gentle energy between the genitals. It is really revitalizing and nourishing and restorative, and it is deeply loving and connecting. It is a very intimate and loving and connecting kind of sex. So why is it so essential to make sex without an erection a part of your sex life? Well, it is absolutely normal, first of all, for erections to fluctuate. We don't allow this to men. We put pressure on men to be these, machines that are supposed to perform with an erection. If a man has some kind of desire or is sexually attracted, we expect him to produce that erection, that physiological result in the body. But a man's body is a living space. It goes through a lot of changes and fluctuations, and lots of things affect it. So actually, an erection physiologically is a very complex thing in the body, and it's a very heavy thing for the physiology of the body. So there are lots of different things that affect it. There are lots of physiological factors that will affect it, lots of daily factors, state of mind, stresses, emotional states, mental states, low energy, low sexual energy. Anything can affect it, and a lot of the time for no reason at all. It just has a life of its own. So it's totally normal, these fluctuations. It's not a dysfunction, it's not a problem, in the same way as you don't see being tired sometimes as being a problem. You don't need to go to a doctor about it, or being in a low mood being a problem. These are just normal daily fluctuations of a living system. So it's completely normal for men sometimes to have an erection and sometimes not. And it's normal for men to feel that they want to have sex, they have desire, but the erection is not happening for one reason or another. And it's important to not put pressure on men and to expect them to perform as these machines, because it's not compassionate and it's not realistic in a daily life. And we need to be able to make love, to connect, to have a really nourishing and loving experience without putting so much pressure on ourselves to perform physiologically. Also keep in mind that having an erection and having sex with erection is pretty much the heaviest thing you can do physiologically in sex. Takes the most resources. It's a really expensive, costly thing for your body. It's a massive workout to create an erection, have sex with an erection. So if you always need an erection in sex, if you're attached to it, then you can only have this super intense sex. That will be fine sometimes when you have energy for it, but it's not going to be that often to have all that physiology, all those resources to spend on sex when you are in the middle of a busy daily life. Another thing is that an erection is quite a primitive mechanism, really. It's an ancient mechanism. So it works on fairly primitive dynamic. It responds to exciting, intense psychological stimulation. It responds to quite specific intense physical stimulation a lot of the time. So there are only a few things in sex that work for the erection. But if we are expanding into a different kind of lovemaking that is a lot more varied and it's more sensual and can be longer, it can be more relaxed, it can be more loving, there are different energies, different experiences in it, then we are going beyond these very primitive kinds of stimulation. We are spreading our experience. We are spreading our experience physically through the whole body. The man feels his whole body, so that all that energy spreads and his attention spreads, and he's making love with his whole body, not just thinking about what is doing something for his penis. We are spreading our experience metaphorically as well. We are not just looking for that strong excitement that will give a big boner. We are looking for loving experiences and beautiful experiences and interesting experiences, energetic experiences. So we're just enjoying lots of different kinds of beauty in sex. So the point is, a lot of this stuff is not supposed to create an erection. That's not what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be enriching and wonderful for you as a person. It's not meant to trigger that basic reflex of getting a boner, and only a few things in sex will do that. So it's completely normal for men sometimes to have an erection and sometimes not. So you can't expect everything in sex to create an erection, because then you're going to be reduced to only a few basic things that haven't really changed from the prehistoric times. So lots of great experiences in sex, they're not meant to create an erection. They're meant to give you other beautiful kinds of experiences. And we just don't allow men to have any of those experiences. So by always insisting on erection, we basically reduce men to these animals who are reduced to doing only a few primitive basic things in sex that will create a boner because the boner is necessary, and all the other things that men can experience in sex, loving, beautiful things, are not allowed for men because men need to produce a boner. And what this then creates is what we can call a penis-obsessed sex, where all things that don't do anything for the erection are removed, and we are reduced only to the things that specifically work on the erection, because the primary goal is to create an erection and to maintain it. So this creates really short foreplay because the erection goes up quickly and then it needs to be used before it falls. There is an anxiety of losing it. It creates bad foreplay, primitive foreplay that's only working for the penis, and other things that don't directly cause an erection are removed from foreplay or from any kind of lovemaking. It creates that kind of really rapid friction sex that is concerned only with maintaining the erection and not losing it, rather than sex that would be an interesting and kind of creative experience of sexual sensations. So everything in sex starts serving the penis and serving the erection. So nobody wins from this. Men get a very reduced version of sex, and their partners get a very reduced version of sex as well from this. So it's really important to liberate ourselves of this pressure to always serve the erection, and to just accept when the erection naturally happens for whatever reason, because we never know all the factors. Then we enjoy sex with erection, and then if it doesn't happen, we enjoy sex without erection. We can penetrate without it, we can lose it and then can continue sex without it, or we can just have sex without it completely. We don't have to give up on anything. There will be a natural proportion of sex with erection, sex without erection, but we need to be free. On any day we are free to be together, to enjoy some really nourishing, lovely energy, some really enriching sexual energy, some love, some connection, whether erection is there or not, and we don't dedicate everything to erection. So the attitude has to be completely indifferent to an erection. Just, it is not a factor. It doesn't matter if it's there. You do what you do. You do what you enjoy. If at the moment when you want to penetrate, you have an erection, you do it with erection. If at that moment you don't have an erection, you penetrate without erection. If later it goes up, you have sex with erection. If it doesn't, you have sex without erection. If it is lost during sex, you continue without erection. Then it goes up again, you continue with erection. Just enjoy sex, whatever the erection is doing. And it's really important that men's partners are really on board with this, because partners put a lot of pressure on the erection. They read into it, like it means that, he's not attracted to you, he doesn't desire you. And partners create a lot of that anxiety and stress in men, because men are trying to show with their erection that it's not true. And nobody wins from this. So it is really important that partners don't take it personally, that you understand it's nothing to do with you, with the desire towards you. These are just normal fluctuations in a man's ability to have an erection, in his energy, in his daily states. All of it is completely normal. There are so many factors there that have nothing to do with you. And you have to just respect each other's states and be compassionate and be kind to each other, and have sex in whatever state you're in today, physiologically, and always get that enriching and nourishing and loving energy from it.